everybody. It's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so glad you guys could join me today. We're going to talk about circle dies. So, see if you can guess what one of the number one unique ways to use a circle die could be. Well, how about I not keep you in the dark? I'm going to show you my favorite way to use circle dies. Look at these incredible cards. So much fun, so easy. I just simply used a circle die and did a little creative cutting. I think you're going to really enjoy the cards that I have for you today. So I say we head over to my stamping table and get to creating. They are all wonderful cards. I love how unique and different they are. But can you see unique, but at the same time, all the same? I just kind of swap things around. We're going to create this gorgeous pansy thanks card today. I absolutely love the Pansy Patch stamp set. So much fun with two-step. That allows me to get all those colors, lots of unique variations to the pansy. Now, even though it has some great sentiments in it, I wanted to go a little bit bolder with this one. Hope you don't mind. I'm going to use the biggest wish, and I wanted to create a thanks card. And I loved the scripty font in this thanks. All right, let's talk about the supplies you need. You're going to need a card base. I'm using polished pink today. You can do two different sizes. This I'm doing 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. But I did want to show you if you prefer to go the 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5. That obviously works too. Either way your card base goes, you're going to be fine with this one. Now you see I do have a layer here, right? This is another piece of polished pink, and this one is 4 inches by 5.25. This is what's going to really give the card some extra layers, some extra texture. Sometimes I think we can go simple, but sometimes you just really need that little extra layer, right? Now you're going to need some designer series paper for your little half circle. So I'm using the Pansy Petals DSP, the designer series paper. And one thing I wanted to show you when you cut this, pay attention to the direction of your flowers. So in this situation, I wouldn't want these flowers going this way, right? So make sure your scrap that you're using goes in the right direction. By the way, this piece is 1.75 by 3.25, but guys, truly just a piece of scrap is going to do great there. We need 2 pieces of basic white. I have a 3.25 by 3.25 square. And then I have just another little piece of scrap. This is about 1.75 by, looks like about 3 inches. It really doesn't matter. That's just going to create our little focal image. All right, now we're ready to get started. So let's talk about circle dies because that's what I used here. And that's what makes this card so amazing. So I have the layering circle dies. You might have a large circle punch. If you do, that would work too. I'm actually going to use the largest circle in the collection. And I'm going with the straight circle versus the scallop, but you are welcome to go with the scallop too. That would work great. We're going to go with the largest circle here in the bunch. Now, which one to choose? Well, that's going to be determined on your sentiment. And to figure that out, you can just take your sentiment on the block and go, yeah, that's about right. So just make sure that your sentiment is going to fit inside the circle. All right, first things first, we're going to take that 3.25 by 3.25 basic white. Let's die cut ourselves a circle. There we go. Now we can take that designer series paper. And for this one, this is what I love about this because you are just using scrap. You just take that right to the edge of the designer series paper and give that a cut. And do you see, look at that, very little scrap. Don't you love it? We love it when we just can use up those little pieces and we lose very little of it. So now you can see we're just going to adhere that designer series paper onto the bottom of our die cut circle. Now, before I do, I want to make sure my sentiment is going to fit where I want it because let's say this is just a little too big, not a problem. If it's a little too long, you can simply bring it into your paper trimmer, and I'm just using the track as a guide right there, and I can trim that down. It's very, very simple to do. Now, you may prefer to adhere this down first. You may prefer to stamp first. It's a preference. One of the reasons I will say sometimes I like to just lay it here, you know, it's not adhered. I'm just laying it here on my circle. Let's say, oh no, I didn't stamp very good. Well, you know what? We can just come along, switcheroo, and we can fix it. We get two shots at it because that time I got a great image. Hey, let me tell you, it happens to all of us, so don't worry about it. But that is one great trick. And also, this is going to allow me to make sure if I got it crooked, I get to move this half circle around so that my thanks is straight. All right, that's all we need to do there. Let's go ahead and stamp our pretty little pansy because I have been dying to show off this great stamp set. So I'm going to come back in with my polished pink. So there's lots of options going on with this stamp set. So I'm going to use this little flower here, and then I'm going to use, whoops, I'm going to use this little center right here. Okay, these are going to fit inside each other. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to ink up that pansy, and I'm going to stamp off because I want this to be a little bit lighter. Stamp here on my cardstock. See, super pretty, right? Now we'll take the center of the pansy, and you're going to love this because you can see right through the photopolymer stamps. So you can see right where to add that second image. Isn't it sweet? Now for the leaves, I'm going to bring in some soft succulent. And I got a little creative, and sometimes that's what we love to do with stamps. This is a little flower. But you know what? It made a great leaf for this little pansy. So you see, once again, two steps. So I'm taking the larger, the solid one, and I'm going to stamp off once, and we'll stamp once here, and we'll repeat that because I want to have two sets of leaves. And now with the inside, we're not going to stamp off. And remember what I said? They just go right inside perfectly. Now you can either fussy cut these if you want, but did you know this stamp set actually comes as a bundle? Yeah, it's also available with matching dies. So you can see here are the two dies that I need so that I can just die cut those. But again, you can fussy cut as well, but the dies sure make it nice and easy. All right, we're going to take those over to my die cutting machine. Let's get those all pretty and die cut. All right, and there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and bring my circle back in. And I have since learned that pansies, the double part of the petals, they go up. All right, so that's going to go right here. And I want you to see how sweet these petals look. Look at that when they come off of the pansy. So we're just going to add some adhesive right here onto the sides so that I can just kind of press those into place. Look at that. See, very easy. All right. Now, I don't want to do anything else with this until I'm ready to put my card together, and it's that time, my friends. So here is our card base. And do you remember I had you cut a 4 by 5 1/4? Now, we can just adhere that because it does give some dimension to the card. But I wanted to add a little something to this little 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece. Look at this. This is called the Stitched Greenery Die. I love this one. Oh my goodness, I have used it so much. You can see your cardstock fits perfect on it, right? Let me show you what it looks like when this one is cut because it is gorgeous. You notice it doesn't necessarily die cut, but it leaves all this fabulous, well, Stitched Greenery, I guess Stampin' Up! Named it quite well. Yeah, it leaves this wonderful image behind, and I just thought that looked gorgeous with the pansy and with the flower. So we're going to add that right here to our card. If you are enjoying the card today, hey, I would love it if you would give me a thumbs up on YouTube. That always helps me. I love knowing what you like. Leave me a comment as well. I absolutely love reading your comments. All right, there we go. Do you see? It really does make a difference. And now we can take that circle image, add that to the front of our card, our sweet little pansy. We're going to add that with some Stampin' Dimensionals. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Stampin' Dimensionals to kind of press down on those petals just to ensure they stay in place. And like I said, I think this little focal image just adds, oh, right? It's so cute. Now, one last little thing, I wanted to add some ribbon. So I have a little bow created with the basic white baker's twine. This comes in an essential pack. Of course, the white being my favorite. I use it all the time. And my trick for adding that is to use a mini glue dot. Let me show you what I like to do. I like to take that mini glue dot, roll it into a little ball. Don't overwork it because we want to make sure it stays sticky. And you can add that right here to the card. The reason I roll it up in a ball is look how tiny the center of that bow is. We don't want to go outside the bow. Now, if your glue dot is kind of sticking out at all, just give it a few presses just to de-stickify it, okay? And you know, why not? We're sticking down that bow anyway. And guys, there is our gorgeous thanks card. Do you love that background and that pansy? So sweet. Let me show you another card that I also did in polished pink, and I want to show you how I did this technique because I thought this was really, really fun. So first, I want you to notice, do you see this halo going on back here? This is so pretty. So this is that same 4 by 5 1/4 polished pink. I'm going to come back in with my polished pink ink pad, and this time I have a blending brush. Now I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to ink it up pretty good because we really want this color to be dark. We want it to pop on this polished pink. So you see, I'm just kind of starting out. Can you see the halo effect, the real pretty soft look? Now, as you go out a little bit further and you do want to come all the way out to the edges, you can kind of start to use a little bit lighter touch. And this just adds a really great softness behind and kind of gives a really nice shadow to my sentiment. Now, I also want to show you how I did that sentiment. So here's my circle. And what I want to do is just kind of decide how far do I want my sponging to be. And you know, there's really no right or wrong. There's no wrong place to put it. We're going to come back in with that blending brush. And I want to give this a ombre. So I want it to go from dark to light. So I'm going to very softly, I'm just going to add my ink on. Real soft touch here with the blending brush. Okay, so that looks pretty, right? Now, to go a little darker, I'm going to ink it up again. And I'm going to start here at the top. And I'm going to give it a little more pressure, okay? Let's do that one more time. And then you can kind of start to go down. Do you see that nice ombre? And of course, you're going to decide how dark you want it. If you're good there, stop there. If you want to really go to town, you can just kind of start to blend the colors downward. It's that easy. And then look at the magic when you remove that. Ooh, so pretty. And that sentiment is from Sunny Sentiments. And then you can see we just added that to our card. A few little sequins. And ooh, there's some of that real pretty magenta ribbon in the background. And again, just kind of adds a little something. So that's a fun technique. I thought this one was really pretty in greens. Greens seem to be the color this year. So this is in soft seafoam, and do you see I did some texture on the background. I embossed this piece of cardstock, and I did that with the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder. There I added some more designer series paper, and that's also from that same Pansy Petals designer series paper. So the same one that we used here. Oh, look at that little sprig. That is from a new punch, Symmetrical Stems. Isn't this great? This also is a border stamp, or border punch, I should say. And you see, I just cut out about 4 of those, added those to my card. I thought that came out really pretty. Oh, by the way, that hello, back in with my new favorite stamp set, Biggest Wish. Yep, there was a great little hello for that card. Now, maybe you don't want to do any layers on that background. You can do that too. Elegantly Said on the smoky slate. And look, I just lightly stamped in the corners with that great big stamp that comes in that. And I also used the matching designer series paper. And do you see here, I just fussy cut one of the leaves out, did a little heat embossing to make a gorgeous copper happy anniversary card. I thought that came out really nice. I have one more card to share with you. And that one, we just changed everything, didn't we? I decided to go with designer series paper on the background and embossed cardstock on my half circle. And this says, sending healing thoughts your way. The paper would be the hand penned, and then these pretty little flowers. Those were made with the flowers and leaves punch. Yep, I just punched those and kind of gave myself a really nice look. Oh, and did a little wrapping of the baker's twine on that one. So there we go. Let me bring all these cards back in. I would love to hear what your favorite is and if you're going to give these unique circle cards a try. Guys, they are really a lot of fun. Great way to use up some scraps of designer series paper because, we don't like to waste anything. So I hope that you'll give the circle cards a try. And there you have it. I hope that you enjoyed the cards. Now, remember, if you will look down in the YouTube description, you will be able to see photos of these cards and get a supply list for each and every one, along with the measurements, of course. So be sure to check that out. Hey, if you liked the video, I would love a thumbs up on YouTube, and I would love to have you as a subscriber. Click the great big red subscribe button and get notified whenever I'm back with a new video. Have a great day. Go make something incredible today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.